Thanks for tuning in to Vitality and Motion. Let this be a place to grow your mindset and prioritize movement. All audio is original with music and production support from Riverside as my editing platform. This podcast is for education and inspiration only, and any studies or products I mention are simply for context. Take what fits in your life and check in with your healthcare medical providers as you feel is necessary. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Vitality in Motion. I'm your host Madi, and today we're joined by another guest. I've been very fortunate to have a lot of guests lately, so it's been awesome. But his name is John Elswick. We actually went to JMU together. Anyway, he is going to share a little background about his fitness journey and personal training, and then starting his own business. So without further ado, hey John, what's up? How are you doing today?
Yeah, thanks, Maddie. It's a pleasure to be here. Very excited to do this, actually. It's my first time being on a podcast or anything like that. My name is John Elswick. I'm the owner of INVICTUS Personal Training based out of Richmond, Virginia. I got my bachelor's in health sciences from JMU. I have my certificate in personal training and nutrition coaching through NASM, so National Academy of Sports Medicine. I've been a personal trainer for about 4 years now, with a focus mainly on weight loss based on my own personal experience, plus everything I've learned in college and the certifications and everything. And then I kind of have a secondary focus on injuries because I've had a few myself, and that's kind of the whole reason I'm a personal trainer in the first place. So yeah, here I am today.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for sharing that. I'm glad to be the first one that you can do a podcast with. Lots of Dukes lately on this podcast, which I'm loving. Go Dukes. Anyway, all right, cool. Let's get into the next question, which is tell us a little about your weight loss journey and kind of what ultimately led you to see results, and kind of share your story with us.
So I've pretty much always been in the gym since I was like 13 years old when I started playing football in middle school, and then all the way throughout high school, but never took it really seriously, never knew what I was doing, just kind of did what my coaches told me to do. The whole path that I'm on now kind of started when I got my injuries. So senior year of high school, I was playing football, had somebody hit my knee and it bent backwards, tore pretty much everything in it, both meniscus, ACL, partial MCL, I think. So as you can imagine, being like a year-round athlete, I also wrestled and did track and all that stuff. My metabolism was very high. I was eating a ton of food and everything. And when I got hurt, I was pretty much laying on the couch the entire time, still eating like an athlete. So gained a ton of weight from the knee injury. I did a ton of physical therapy to recover from that, but then never really lost the weight. Got into college, and freshman year of college, herniated a disc in my back deadlifting, trying to lift 400 pounds. And that's really the one that pushed me to be a personal trainer or get on the health track in general. I didn't immediately want to be a personal trainer or anything. Tried to ego lift and hurt my back. This is going to be kind of a long story. Didn't realize it was a back injury until much later, because all I had at first was sciatica. Didn't have any back pain. So as you can imagine, they'll just tell you to go to physical therapy. It's probably your piriformis or other tight muscles that are impinging your sciatic nerve. Didn't get an MRI or anything until like 7 or 8 months down the road. Finally had 2 surgeries for that disc. It's all better now, but as you can imagine, with that, not being able to lift and having the surgeries, gained even more weight. So at my heaviest, I was like 255, 260-ish. And to put that into context, I'm like 5'9", 5'10". So it's not a good weight for my height, right? Decided I wanted to lose all that weight because I felt, the normal things that people feel when they're overweight, disgusted with myself. My mental health was at an all-time low. And I really struggled with bad diets, not seeing the results that they want, all that stuff. It kind of fully clicked for me when I stopped focusing on fad diets, bunch of cardio, and started looking at the science behind it. So the math behind calorie counts and all that stuff. Didn't track calories at first, but just paying attention to certain meals I was eating. I'm eating a lot more calories than I thought I was. Yeah, started tracking my calories a little bit, my protein, and then started going to the gym and finding things that I actually liked to do. That way I would stay consistent with it.
And sometimes just having like a buddy or someone to keep you accountable also can make a difference, especially if you're kind of new to the gym setting. But in your case, you had a history of going.
Yeah, the best that I got down to was 170. So that's 80, 85 pounds. I did that with zero cardio. One of the biggest things I try to tell people is you don't have to kill yourself on a Stairmaster, do hours of a treadmill. You don't have to do that. You can make it a lot easier by just doing things you like doing long term. So it took me maybe a year and a half to lose that 80 pounds. So it wasn't, super quick results by any means, but it's definitely a long game. That's what I try to tell everybody at first.
For sure. It's definitely more of a journey versus a destination. You kind of have to slowly keep working at it over time. So thanks for sharing your story and kind of diving into the next little tidbit, because I know you are, like you said, a personal trainer. How do you like to customize your plans to help your clients?
So most of the time, clients want to lose weight. When they say that, they don't really care about the weight. They want to look better, they want to feel better, they want to be more confident, all that
Mhm.
stuff that goes with it. So before I even start structuring a program or anything, I have them get on a in-body scan. It's a body composition scan.
Yeah, I was gonna say explain a little more what that is.
Yeah, so it's got panels on the bottom of it and the handles that'll send, it's called bioelectrical impedance. So it'll send electrical signals through your body and basically detect what's water, what's body fat, what's muscle, etc. So it'll tell you what your body actually is, not just tell you how much it weighs. I use that to kind of set a standard of what progress means. First thing I tell people is do not pay attention to weight. Do not pay attention to your scale, especially at first, because if you've never been in the gym before and you start going, you're going to gain muscle pretty fast and your muscles are going to absorb more nutrients. So you're going to weigh more just because of that reason. So when
Right.
you start for New Year's and you go to the gym for the first time and you're disappointed a month down the road because you don't weigh any less, that's why. It's not because you're not making any progress. So on
Right.
top of that, the scan will tell you what your body fat percentage is as well. What people don't realize is they probably gained, 3 or 4 pounds of muscle, lost 5, 6, 7 pounds of fat, and they weigh about the same, but they've really made 10, 12 pounds of progress and just don't realize it. That's the thing
Right.
that stops most people in the gym.
Definitely. And I feel like the numbers and data can be great from that standpoint versus just seeing the number on the scale. Because, like you said, it can fluctuate and muscle weighs more than fat. So,
Yeah. And then, so as far as like structuring their actual programs, it depends on what their overall goal is. So, like if somebody comes to me and says they want to lose weight, I'm going to have them doing a lot of compounded movements that are going to involve multiple muscle groups. It's going to get their heart rate high. They're going to burn lots of calories in a shorter time without it being miserable. I just have them doing squats, deadlifts, hip thrusts, things that are going to get them going. But then at the end of the workout, I throw in more isolated movements that are going to target the muscles that they want to see grow or tone up. So somebody tells me, hey, I want to get rid of the flab underneath my arm, or like get rid of the flab that's around my bra line. I have them doing lats and triceps and stuff individually at the end. So they get a little bit of both worlds.
makes sense.
Whereas somebody that wants to build a lot of muscle, focus a little bit less on the calorie burn and more so just heavier weights, a little bit more isolation. When it comes to nutrition, instead of trying to have people, start a fad diet or just give them a meal plan or whatever, um, if you change something up too much, they're probably not going to like it. They're not going to stick to it long term. So instead, I take what they're already eating and just replace the ingredients with higher protein, lower calorie options. So that way, they're eating the same thing. They're eating the things they enjoy, but it's just higher protein, low calorie. It suits their goals more, and it's going to keep them more consistent because they actually enjoy doing it. So like for me, I'm a big carb guy. I love pasta, wraps, sandwiches, stuff like that. I eat a protein pasta now, pretty much 24/7. That's like it's not the chickpea pastas because those ones taste a little bit like rubbery, but
Yeah.
I eat like the legume pasta, the Barilla or Berea, however you say it, protein
Yeah.
pasta. And then like 647 bread, like the lower carb breads. They're just, I
Mhm.
don't eat them because they're lower carb, I just eat them because they're lower calorie. But just those can make hundreds of calories of difference in your diet. And you don't have to change anything up too much because you're eating the same. And actually, if you are a big back like I am and you love to eat food, you love to have your
I'm a
sweets, your
huge
cheat days
foodie.
and stuff. Yeah. So if you track your calories, which I know everybody doesn't want to,
Mhm.
at least try it. If you do, you can kind of if you get the math down, you can calculate how many calories you have to cheat with at the end of the week. So say if I'm in a deficit of 500 calories a day and I'm under my goal by like 700 calories, I know I can splurge and eat 700 calories worth of whatever I want, whether it's ice
Right.
cream, candy, whatever, and still be on track. So like
Yeah.
that's the main benefit for me is of like tracking calories. I know when I can cheat and when I have to stay consistent.
You have to have a cheat day. You can't just be strict all the time on
Oh
yourself.
yeah.
I feel like for me, if what I was tracking mostly when I was is just like my protein, making sure I hit my protein goal because sometimes it's just like you said, it can be taxing to track everything. But I feel
Mm.
like once you get a basis, and I'm kind of a creature of habit and I like eat the same things. So I feel like once you
Oh yeah,
kind of get a
same.
basis of like what your content is, you don't have to track as much, which is nice. But
Yeah.
I definitely think it's a good place to start. Have you ever done any reverse dieting, or do you just keep yourself in a caloric deficit all the time?
Um, Definitely not all the time because then it affects your metabolism
Right.
and eventually your body will kind of plateau. It's a lot harder to build muscle when you're in a calorie deficit. So you
Mhm.
have to take breaks sometimes. You have to be in a calorie surplus to gain a lot more muscle. The reason
Right.
you would want to do that is because the more muscle you have, the more calories your body burns just at rest. So it's
Mhm.
easier to lose weight the more muscle you have. So like you kind of go on this repeat process where you cut for a few months, get as low as you can go to where you're happy with whatever, and then do a reverse diet
Hmm.
and bump up your calories a little bit, your protein, a little bit of carbs, focus on building muscle more. That's where something like a body fat scan comes into play a lot too, because it tells you what your muscle mass is. So you can make sure the weight you gain or lose is actually muscle or body fat. And then once you've gained all that muscle and you go to cut again, it's much easier because your metabolism is higher now. Actually, I just put one of my clients through a kind of a body recomp. So we did like the reverse dieting thing that you were just talking about. So I got her to bump up her calories, and she was really reluctant to because she had just lost 50 pounds with me. The last thing she wants to do is bump up her calories and gain that weight back. Anyway, she didn't gain any weight or anything, and also got her on creatine finally. But she just started her cut again for my 90-day challenge that started January 1st.
Hmm.
And she's already down 2% body fat, up a few pounds of
Wow.
muscle just from throwing in creatine. And I've only bumped her calories down by like 1 or 200.
Yeah.
So,
No, creatine
and
is an amazing supplement. I mean, it's one of the
yeah,
most studied supplements and it has amazing benefits, even outside of the gym.
yeah,
So, big advocate. But anyway,
yeah.
okay, so my next question for you is how, once they kind of have a program and they're established, how do you keep your clients motivated to keep coming back?
Yeah, so one underlooked thing about having a trainer is they need to be able to motivate you and they need to have some kind of experience with what they're coaching. It doesn't make sense for you to have a weight loss coach that's never had to lose weight in their life, at least to an extent. Like, sure, they know the science behind it and everything, but somebody that's actually been through it can empathize with you. They know what
Build
struggles
rapport.
mentally you're going through. Yeah, rapport
Mhm.
and just that empathy. I can motivate you by getting you to see things and overcome things that I've already overcame, if
Mhm.
that makes sense. So like the client I was just talking about that lost 50 pounds, she was just like me, struggled with seeing the results in the mirror. And I kept telling her, just, trust me, stick with the program and everything. We'll do your body fat scan once or twice a month. And trust me, if you stick to this calorie count, these protein level, you'll see that number go down by like 2% each month. You'll lose a few pounds each month, give or take, and give me like 5, 6 months. You'll be really happy with who you are. And yeah, so like the first 3 months, she really struggled. But then, fourth, fifth month, have her take progress pictures and stuff too. I'm a big advocate for having multiple methods of measuring progress. So that
Yeah.
way, once you see like either a number change or like your clothes feel different, if people come up and talk to you and they're like, hey, you look different, that's when it clicks in your head that you're actually making progress. So there's
Mhm.
nothing that's more motivating than seeing the progress that you're looking
Oh yeah, for sure. I agree. The more ways that you have to show your progress, like you were saying, is going to make a huge difference. Because
at. Yeah.
the next time someone compliments you and they're like, dang, you're looking good, it's like immediately you're like, yes, I know this is working.
Like even yeah, like even myself, like I've been in the gym for 13 years now,
Mhm.
and I look in the mirror every day and I can't tell a difference. But
Mhm.
people either come up to me, dude, like this last month or so, you're looking a lot bigger, or like, oh, you're looking a lot skinnier. Like I can see your delts, I can see this muscle popping out. I'm like, oh, thanks, man. I can't really see that. You know, it helps so much
Guys
more.
compliment guys too, is what I'm hearing.
Oh, God, if we want to go down that road, guys compliment guys more than women do,
Oh,
way
I'm
more than
sure,
women do.
especially in the gym.
Yeah, so like people think that like when guys post their Instagram pictures of the gym or whatever, and they're getting comments from a bunch of girls and stuff. No, it's guys in their DMs.
Hey, at least there's a good positive culture around that. All right. The next question that I have is what is a common mistake that you either see when people start their weight loss journey or maybe just something in general that you see that you're like, this is not working?
Probably the same thing that I went through. I tried to change too much too fast. I did keto at first when I was trying to lose weight, and of course, I did lose like 20 pounds in 2 months or so when I was doing it. But then
Sustain.
I just kept falling off. I would gain it right back. But I would do that. I would try doing like fat burners and stuff, kill myself on cardio. I would, do way too much cardio. Didn't really know what I was doing as far as like structuring a weight training program. I tend to notice people they focus on the wrong things too. So like I said, like fat burners, supplements, special diets. Like you see somebody that's made crazy progress on Instagram and you're like, dude, what are you eating? Or like, what are you taking something? That kind of
Mhm.
stuff. What you don't realize is that person is probably getting 7 or 8 hours of sleep a night. They're hitting their calorie goal. They're eating plenty of protein and they're going to the gym three, four,
Right.
5 times a week and just doing that months at a time. You can't see that just by looking at a picture on Instagram.
You see it's like a 30-second reel and you're like, oh, they did this and it shows like their progress in 30 seconds, but in reality, sometimes it takes like maybe 6 months to a year to really achieve what your, long-term.
Yeah, it's a time investment. And it just takes people to see that progress for the first time to get it to click in their head that it's the little things, the small things that you have to do to see that progress. The person you see on Instagram isn't special. They're not different than you. They're
Right.
just doing the little things most of the time.
And I'm a big advocate for finding what works for you. Like I can sit here all day and tell you my advice and what I've done, but ultimately it comes down to your motivation and your discipline in yourself to be consistent versus perfect.
For sure, yeah. So like that's one of the things I tell people too is the road for you is going to look a lot different than it did for me.
Hmm.
So my mom, for example, I'm gonna contradict myself because I just hated on keto. My mom does keto permanently because she
Mm.
was diabetic. She was on all
Yeah,
these medications and stuff, so she had to cut
right.
out her carbs. She does it permanently, and she's lost over 100 pounds. But
That's awesome.
it works for her because she enjoys the way she's eating, and she's a master in the kitchen. She makes keto recipes for like mac and cheese. She makes her own keto bread. She makes desserts, sweets, whatever. I just can't do it myself because I can't stay consistent with that. She doesn't even work out, but she's lost over 100 pounds. It's going to be different for everybody, but my job is finding what works for you and
Mhm.
keep you consistent with it.
Definitely. That's the nice part about having a personal trainer is like you were saying earlier, they can help you kind of with the numbers and help you almost, be consistent. It makes you accountable because you're like, okay, I'm paying for these classes, like I need to show up.
This is going to be a very small niche point that I noticed with personal training, but the people that are very hesitant to put money into their health and fitness, I find are the ones that don't get as much results because they don't
Mhm.
have as much skin in the game. So like if you're paying for something, uh, you're going to hold yourself more accountable and you're going to feel more responsible over that thing.
Right. Definitely. Health is an investment for sure. All right. So moving on to the next question. I guess it kind of feeds into that. If people are at a plateau, is there anything that you suggest or something that they should change up?
There's so many reasons that you could be not noticing any results. First of all, if you're like brand new to either weight loss, building muscle, whatever, have multiple ways of measuring progress, which we already talked about, including, a body composition type measurement. Never just look at the scale. That's not going to tell you anything about what your body's doing. If you have been to the gym, going to the gym for a while, you're not really paying attention to nutrition. Definitely try tracking your calories. Just get an idea of what you're actually eating each week. A lot of people either over or underestimate what they're eating. I would say like 75, 80% of people that don't track at all, that's what they're doing. Like I said, for my other client, maybe you need a body recount. Maybe your body is plateaued a little bit, your metabolism's a little low. Try building some muscle for a few months and then try again. In that case, I would say get a trainer or at least go consult with a trainer so they can give you the advice that I'm trying to give people now. Go ahead.
How do you feel about the new AI trainer apps that are out now?
I haven't looked at them too much. I have seen the AI diet tracker, like the calorie
Oh,
trackers and stuff. I have seen those, but not as much the AI trainers. I could do a whole podcast just on that. It's
yeah.
kind of taking over people's brains. They use it as their brain instead of thinking for
Yeah.
themselves. But a computer is never going to be able to, for one, empathize with you, like what I was talking about earlier. They haven't been through the struggle of not seeing the results or trying all these different diets and stuff. Sure, they'll tell you like what exercises to do, but it can't go any more in depth than that. Um,
Right. Can't really tailor or adjust maybe as quickly or efficiently as like someone in real time.
yeah, it's like I'm a personal trainer, and if you try to replace me with AI, it's not going to be personal. It's a
Right.
machine. So
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah.
it's hard to make it specific to you, your body and your lifestyle, etc. Um, I would say the last thing as far as like plateaus and not seeing results and stuff, sometimes there's something under the hood that's wrong with you.
Mm.
So like you should definitely go talk to a doctor if it's been like, if you've been going to the gym for at least a year or something like that, and you've been tracking your calories and stuff, nothing seems to work, go get your blood work done. I had a client a few months ago, maybe back in October, November. He was struggling to see progress. And this is somebody that's lost 60 pounds already. He plateaued
Mhm.
really hard for a year. I couldn't get him to see any results. He was feeling really low in energy and everything. I told him to
Yeah.
go to the doctor, get his blood work done. Turns out his hormones, his testosterone was really, really low. And when I say low, like your normal range is between like 300 to 1200, something in those ranges. His was like 20, so
Wow.
extremely low. His doctor ended up having him do an MRI, and it turns out he had a mass in a cavity in his brain that was pushing on his pituitary gland.
Yeah.
And that's what was causing his testosterone to be super low. So not only was it the low testosterone stopping him from like losing weight, very low energy, low cognitive function, all that stuff. They told him that if it had gotten much bigger, he could go blind. It could be life threatening.
Yeah.
So he had a surgery, removed that, and now he's back in the gym. He's feeling so much more energetic. He's starting to lose weight again.
Good.
He's actually lost like 20 pounds since then.
That's awesome.
That's a very like extreme example, but something
Mhm.
could be wrong under the hood. So like go to a doctor,
Yeah.
get your blood work done. It could be everything from you're putting too much creamer in your coffee twice a day that you're not tracking. Or it could be,
Mhm.
hormones are off. There's so many different things, so many different
Yeah,
variables to consider.
I agree. I feel like we always say in the PT world, if you're not really seeing any results after like 6 to 8 weeks of getting treatment, then more than likely it may be another underlying issue, or maybe it's referral pain from a certain organ or whatever it might be. So it's always good to seek other medical help. It's definitely good to be aware of, especially in your field as well, if people are not noticing results. So, okay, next question is what is a nutrition fad that you can't stand, or something in the fitness world that just gives you the ick and you're like, why are people doing this?
I've got
Why?
so many pet peeves.
Give like your top like maybe two or three.
First one I'll say is ego lifting. So like that's, as I said before, that's how I hurt my back. I was trying to show
Yeah.
off in the university gym. Didn't really know what I was doing. I was trying to lift 400 pounds, but it was all with my back, horrible form and everything. It got
Hmm.
me hurt. Well, if you're on a bench press and you feel like your form wasn't all that great, your shoulders kind of hurt and it's clicking, but you feel like you want to, like you're 20 pounds away from hitting 225 or whatever. You're like,
Right.
all right, screw it. I'm going to put 225 on there. I'm going to go. That's ego lifting. You're going to get yourself
Yeah.
hurt.
Yeah.
Um, Once you mess up your back, like I say, you can't go back after that.
No,
It's
right. Your
yeah,
back is
especially
so important.
yeah, especially because I've had two surgeries now. It wasn't from two separate injuries. I just had to have the same one twice. Because of that, my back, my glutes, my hips, my hamstrings are always super tight now. Like I have to constantly stretch just to keep them functional.
Mhm.
So don't ego lift, please. The other ones are what it kind of all goes into one. I find the tendency that people want like a magic pill for everything in life, especially weight loss. Like they don't want to put in the work and everything. They want to either hop on Ozempic or any of the other GLPs.
Yeah.
They want to do like a juice cleanse, or they want to start drinking apple cider vinegar in the morning. Stuff like that
Hmm.
is you're trying to use a magic pill to lose weight instead of actually putting in the work, which is
Hmm.
not to hate, but that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Um,
Actually, Gabby, who's my brother's fiance, she's in pharmacy school and she was saying basically like supplements are not treatments. And I feel like
right.
sometimes people are looking for outlets with, I guess, the easy route, like you said, Ozempic or all of these other supplements that are on the market. And I do take supplements, but it's based off of what my body needs and not just what the internet is saying that I need.
Yeah, no, for sure. So I have, so speaking of the GLPs and everything, I'm not just hating on those because we actually provide that in the gym that I work
Yeah.
at.
I mean, I
We
think
have
they
a,
can have benefits, especially for people who have diabetes.
yeah, so we have a separate business a nurse that provides that in our gym. But for her to provide it, you have to be working with a trainer here because she doesn't want anybody just to take it as like a magic pill and not work out and everything, because then you're just going to
Yeah.
lose muscle mass and bone density and all that stuff. You're not going to get the results that you're looking for. So you have to be working out, eating right, and doing GLP-1s or whatever it is to
Right.
supplement that. It should never replace your training and nutrition.
Definitely. Yeah, because I mean, the bone mass and the muscle mass, that's a scary thing. And once you hit a certain age, I think I want to say it might be when you hit your 40s, there's no going back. You're not really gaining any more bone mass at that point. So now kind of transitioning, or is there any other fads that you wanted to mention before we move on?
Don't just do the things that you see your favorite influencer doing. That's another one that I cannot stand. Other than those, I can't really think of a big one that I can't stand at the moment.
Okay, cool. Thanks for sharing your 2 cents. I want to transition to talking a little bit about you starting your own business with personal training, how that's been, maybe share like a struggle or like a high and a low.
It's it's a whole different ball game. So my first 2 years of being a personal trainer, I was at a corporate gym, and the corporate gym environment is definitely much different than being an independent contractor like I am now.
They try to push you and push the numbers when you're in a corporate gym.
Yeah, I work at a private gym now, called Evolve Training Club. It's pretty much a personal training gym, but I'm running my own business. I don't have like a boss anymore. I can make my own schedule. I can set my own prices, all that stuff. And it's a lot more work because I have to do all my own marketing now. I don't just get clients from the front desk at my corporate gym. I have
Right.
to set up my own website. I got to post my own content. I got to manage my own schedule. When it comes to any kind of client problem, whether they can't pay or I have to chase a payment or something like that, I have to handle that. I can't just let my manager do it. So
Hmm.
on top of that, you got to calculate your own taxes and everything. It doesn't just get randomly taken out of your paycheck. You have to do all
Right.
that stuff yourself. The overall success or failure of your business is all on you. Like there's nobody else to blame if it
Hmm.
doesn't work out, be
Yeah.
successful.
Trial and error too. I mean, sometimes you might feel like one thing works and then it might pull you in another direction.
Yeah. But definitely being an entrepreneur and a business owner, it's so eye-opening at first.
Mhm.
Plus, you have a lot of personal growth because you mature a lot because you have a lot more responsibility. You're doing
Yeah.
so much more. Not to hate on the lifestyle, but if you're working a 9 to 5 or whatever, there's only so far you can go. Like you'll get promoted to a certain point, you can switch jobs to a different company or whatever. When you're an entrepreneur, you can start a new business, you can go into different industries, you can create partnerships, hire
Mhm.
employees. There's so many different ways you can go. I'm almost 2 years into it now, but it's life changing for sure. It's a lot of responsibility, a lot of work, but very, very rewarding. A lot more free than I felt at the corporate gym. I felt like
Yeah, definitely.
I wasn't allowed to train certain ways. I wasn't allowed to do certain things and change the prices. I was only allowed to do 30-minute sessions, which I hate
Mhm.
doing.
Yeah, I feel like you don't really get into anything at that point. It's like warm up and then maybe like a couple exercises and it's like, okay, see ya.
That's one piece of advice that I would say if people are looking for a personal trainer, not to hate on corporate gym trainers because some of them are good. It's just that environment is not catered to your success. It's just money. Whereas
Yeah.
if you find an independent contractor, they're more concerned about your results. The more they get you results, the more that they're going to have testimonials and social proof that what they're doing is working. And that's what people like me rely on because, again, we have to
Right.
market ourselves and everything.
Right.
So our success is directly tied to yours.
Yeah, definitely. Then I would love to eventually, after I graduate from PT school, to have my own little business. I don't want to work a 9 to 5. I don't want to work in corporate. I already did that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just it's not, and it's easy to get burnt out. There's so many things with it.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, that's definitely inspiring and motivating. I guess to kind of wrap it up before we do our little rapid fire, what would you say you define success as within yourself, within your business, maybe with your clients?
It's constantly changing. As far as overall success, the definition of success in general. So my business is called Invictus Personal Training. I chose that name because Invictus or Invicta is Latin for undefeated or unconquerable because no matter what your struggles are in life, whether it's mental health, whether it's weight loss, financial, career wise, whatever it is, you only truly fail when you give up. So if you stay consistent, you keep pushing, you're never going to fail, truly.
Love that.
Yeah. My goals for 2026, I definitely want to move a little bit more online.
I was going to say, I think I was checking out your website and it looks like you have online training now, which is awesome.
Yes. Yeah. So one thing that so I have a few mentors that kind of told me this too. When you move online, you can help a lot more people at the same time.
Hmm.
Whereas if you're in person, you only have a certain amount of time that you can work
Right.
with people. I love the people that I work with every day, but if I truly want to help the most amount of people, it has to be online to an extent.
People are coming out with abs and all sorts of stuff. So,
Yeah. And on top of that, I want to make Invictus a movement because, like I said, it's got a lot of meaning behind it for me. I want to turn it into a clothing brand, supplements, and just build an overall community and culture
yeah,
that
I
pushes
love
people to
that.
just keep on going through whatever their struggles are.
I love that. And I'm a big advocate for like preventative health. I feel like we have such a reactive healthcare system. I feel like any way that you can motivate people and get people healthy now versus later, and they don't have to go
Oh,
through a
yeah.
back injury or a back surgery, I'm here for it. So I
Yeah,
love
and that's a powerful part of being a personal trainer too, is just getting people to work out and like lift weights can solve so many different health issues. Not saying
yeah.
that it's gonna like cure certain things or it's gonna be the answer to everything, but you are at so much lower risk for so many different things. Just if you do a little bit of weightlifting, it doesn't take a lot, and it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be heavy either.
Right. Well, even just like walking, I mean, it can decrease your risk for cardiovascular disease or, it's less stress on your joints. So therefore, you're
Yeah,
gonna have less pain. So there's a lot of benefits to weight training for sure. So we're gonna close out with a little rapid fire. I'm just gonna ask John these questions and he's just gonna give us his answer. So
good
the
to
first
go.
one is, what is your favorite lift?
Favorite lift? I'd have to say bench press or anything chest related.
I like triceps. I feel like those are,
I was about to ask what yours was. Is it just tricep specifically, like doing tricep extensions, or?
yeah, I love doing tricep extensions. I love like tricep push-ups. The next question is, what is your favorite supplement brand?
Caffeine. No, that's a
Okay.
joke. I'd say my favorite like supplement is creatine for sure. I am a fan of protein powders. I just don't take them a lot myself, and I don't push them a lot on my clients because ideally you want whole foods for your
Yeah.
protein and not just a powder. I do push them a little bit more for women.
That's
It's harder to get the amount of protein that you need. Creatine, definitely my biggest supplement. Even women should be taking it. A lot of people think that it just makes you gain a lot of water weight. They'll look fluffy when they take it. That's not true at all. It gives you more energy. It helps even from a mental aspect, but all that water weight goes into your muscle. So if anything, it makes your muscles look fuller. It'll make you look more lean, and you'll be
yeah.
stronger and more energetic. So
Yeah.
it's don't be afraid of the whole water weight thing, would be my
Yeah,
take
that's
on
only
that.
temporary if it does happen. And there's also great cognitive benefits with it as well. So it's
Yeah.
overall a great supplement. How do you
Yeah.
feel about amino acids?
The essential ones, the EAAs, are probably the most
Mhm.
important ones. The BCAAs you don't have to care as much about because you're probably getting a lot of those through food. As far as like a brand, I'm a big fan of Raw Nutrition. They, as far as I know, they are third party tested. They're super
Mhm.
transparent with their ingredients and their overall goal and everything. And it's not the most expensive stuff in the world either. It's pretty average as far as price. One thing I love too, when you open a new thing of protein powder or like a pre-workout and the scoop is just sitting right there on the top of the powder, you don't have to go digging for it. That's so nice. And it's always like that for Raw Nutrition.
No,
Um,
I agree. I hate having to dig through the bag because then it's like I feel like I get it everywhere.
yeah. Not sponsored or anything, but just Bumstead, one of the
Hmm.
is Mr. Olympia for like 6 years in a row. He's super big on transparency and like quality
Hmm.
stuff. But also I'm a big fan of like his attitude about like mental health and everything. It's very in line with my goals. So I kind of tried that brand, Raw Nutrition, and I
Yeah.
love it so far. That's what I would go for.
Okay, cool. I'm always looking for new brands that, follow those guidelines, so I appreciate
Mhm.
you sharing. Last question is, what is an exercise that you find yourself cueing all the time or that maybe people are just not doing correctly?
Again, there's a lot I could say, but as far as the doing things incorrectly part, it's hip hinges or any kind of like glute exercise, any kind of deadlifts, hip thrusts. And I
Hmm.
think my back injury was kind of a blessing in that sense because I'm very understanding of like the lumbopelvic hip complex because that's the first thing they teach you in physical therapy too as a patient when you have a back injury is like you have to work on your glutes, your core, your hip flexors, hamstrings, all that stuff. So that's something that I'm kind of blessed with is just a again, I'm able to empathize but also like fix the form, especially for deadlifts.
It's all just about that proper hip hinge.
Yeah, everyone's so used to using their knees and doing like a squat
Hmm.
or their back. It's very rare that I get a new client that actually knows how to use their hips properly. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Lastly, just to kind of wrap up, where can people find you on social media?
Yeah. So I'm pretty much on all the socials. The main one I use is Instagram. So John Elswick Jr. No spaces, but there is a dot in between Elswick and Jr. So John Elswick Jr.
I
You
can put
spell
it.
Elswick with ELSWICK. If you look up John Elswick Jr. on Facebook, you'll find me as well. And then I do have a website at INVICTUSPTRVA.com. Again, it's Invictus Personal Training based out of Richmond, Virginia, but I also do online training, which includes full workout plans that are customized to you with videos and everything behind it. And it'll track your weights and everything as long as you enter them and actually do the stuff that I tell you to do. The nutrition coaching comes with it as well. So like I'll give you calorie counts. I'll have you go somewhere to get a body composition scan, no matter where you're at, and kind of base everything off that. If I had to give an overall message, it would be just what my brand says. No matter what your struggles are, whether it's what I went through with injuries and mental health and weight loss and everything, you only truly fail when you give up.
Hmm. Love that.
Yeah,
That's a great closing. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on, John, and stay tuned for next time,
yeah.
listeners.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks again so much for being here. If you're looking to connect with me on socials, my Instagram is vitalityinmotion_. My YouTube is at vitalityinmotion with two N's at the end. And then my email is vitalityinmotion@gmail.com.